Sure. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Solling. This one does require 6 votes. Discussion. Roll call.
Coe,
Aye.
Clocher,
Yes.
Funkhauser,
Aye.
Cornels,
Nay.
Transier, Solling,
Aye.
Merrick,
Yes.
motion carries.
Okay, thank you. Okay, next, I'm looking for a motion and a second to approve an ordinance annexing certain territory located generally south of Galena Road, east of Elgin Road, and west of North Bridge Street to the United City of Yorkville.
So moved.
I heard, who was on this side, Merrick, and then Clocher? Okay, the rest of these require 5 votes. Any discussion? Mr. Solon?
Regarding this Meyer property, I have gone on record.
Wait. No, we're still on Prologis.
We're still on Prologis.
Yeah, we got 4
Sorry.
more motions, Craig.
I'm sorry.
No, don't worry, it's late. Okay, so. Okay. Mr. Clocher?
I have lived here for over 40 years. So lived my mother and my father. And my uncle lived here. Both were 319 Union Highway. I have been a 597 Union pipe fitter for over 20 years. I represent Ward 2. I'm on my 4th term. I speak for the residents of this town that are being taxed out of their houses and have been for a very long time. I represent the older part of the town. I represent the men and women that work to build this town, and that's who I am voting.
Other comments, questions from council? Roll call?
Clocher,
Yes.
Funkhauser,
Aye.
Cornels,
Nay.
Transier, Solling,
Aye.
Merrick,
Yes.
Coe,
Aye.
motion carries.
Okay. Next, looking for a motion, excuse me, motion and a second for an ordinance approving the rezoning to the M2 General Manufacturing Zoning District of certain territory located generally south of Galena Road, east of Elgin Road, and west of North Bridge Street, State Route 47.
So moved.
Culture, is there a second? Second by Transier. Discussion on this?
So on this property, I've gone. on
Wait,
record-
we're still not in Meyer.
We're still.
No, Craig will tell you. We'll tell you, okay? Yeah, 5. Did you have anything else, Craig?
We'll let him know. We'll let him know.
Okay, any other comments? Roll call, please.
Funkhauser,
Aye.
Cornels, Cornels,
Test. Well, don't take that.
Rusty, can you hear us?
Test.
Very scheduled.
Guys, we can't hear you on Zoom.
Oh,
Test.
I can hear you now.
Okay, now we can hear you. Can you hear us now?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Cornels,
Nay.
Transier, Solling,
Aye.
Merrick,
Yes.
Coe,
Aye.
Clocher,
Yes.
motion carries.
Okay, thank you. Next, looking for a motion to approve an ordinance approving a planned unit development agreement with Prologis LP.
So moved.
Second by Coke. Craig, not yet, okay.
I got the right page now.
Okay. Any questions or comments from council?
I do have one question. With the Project Cardinal, they did commit to using only DI water and not using any city water. I want to know why Project Steel can't commit to the same thing.
Good question.
Do we want to have somebody from Steel speak? Yeah. I know they're using less water overall.
Yeah, so question is why we're not using trucking water to the initial fill versus city water? Is that to clarify the question?
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that, and Cardinal said they were gonna have on-site tanks to refill when evaporation happens, and I just wanna know why you guys can't commit to the same thing.
So I don't know the particulars of their design. Evaporative loss on a closed loop system is in the range of like 1 to 2%. Really your loss when you're using sewer is in those events I talked about earlier where you have to do maintenance on the system. You do a bypass, you have to unload that portion of the pipe and push it to the sewer line. So there wouldn't really be a need, to my knowledge, of needing any tanks for evaporative loss. And then to the question of trucks, I think we looked at that. The flip side of that is, more trucks on the road, right? And so I think when we communicated with city staff around usage, there didn't seem to be a concern with those fills being from the municipal water load. And so we felt like it would be more efficient to be doing it through the city water pipes than just taking a bunch of trucks and putting them on the road to do the fill.
Other questions or comments? Mr. Transier.
Can I follow up with the question that was asked earlier about the contents of the water that's being discharged into the municipal?
Yes, I was waiting for that. So there's really two classifications of what are called inhibitors. And again, everything this is again, you have a closed loop water system. What you're trying to prevent is corrosion on those pipes. And so there's called organic and non-organic inhibitors. We would typically use what are called organic inhibitors. There's a list of those chemicals. If you want me to read them off, I'll probably butcher them. But those organic inhibitors do not need pre-treatment before going to the sewer system, and that's why they're used. There is a second list of non-organic inhibitors that do need pre-treatment. Those you have to get pre-treated on the site so that they could then flow to the sewer system. We would work with the sewer authority on all the levels of what that water is. And again, using that organic inhibitor wouldn't need pre-treatment anyways, but we'd work with them on that. And then you typically also have what's called a biocide. So again, if you think about water in a pipe that's sitting there for a while, the other thing you don't want is mold or mildew growing in that pipe system or any sort of bacteria. And so they typically put, just like you put in your pool, a chlorine in a very low quantity, because again, you don't want corrosion in the pipes that would go into that piping system.
And so when this water is being discharged, the YBS Data Sanitary District is going to have an opportunity while it's happening, before it happens, to monitor what's being released?
Correct. Yeah.
Is that going to be every time that the
So as part of
discharge?
getting into the details here, a part of the building permit process, when those plans are finalized with the actual STSs of what that chemical is, that's when the coordination happens with the sewer department. And then there's a plan modeling on what that percentage amount is in the water. And then there's a treatment plan set up on site, or a no treatment plan that's needed in place.
And if the levels are higher than what's acceptable, there's an alternate plan to remove that water from your system and not being discharged into the municipal?
Correct. That's the pre-treatment piece. So you have pre-treatment on site, and then you'd handle it properly. Yeah.
I think Eric can speak to
Eric,
some of those comments.
make sure you speak into the mic, please, Eric.
Absolutely. YBSD would handle all that, and they would look at the composition of the wastewater and give the verdict of, we would allow this, we would have to have pre-treatment, and they do monitor it constantly.
Yeah, they would have to annex, they would have to go through a permit process to discharge, and then they would have to talk to the pre-treatment options.
And so with your chemicals, you're talking about organics, specifically organic loadings in BOD, do you think there would be any consequences for YBSD that you would increase their biooxygen demand load with your organic chemicals?
So I will 100% say that's way outside my expertise. I can follow up with you on that, but I can get you that information from our consultant.
I don't think you should be
Typically,
voting
what
on
we
that.
see is, speaking in layman's terms, that the biggest concern on the sewer treatment is the water's too clean. And so it throws off the balance of the organic material in the treatment plant. And there's just concern about overflowing that to make it too clean.
Brad, did you have, I'm sorry, Craig.
So from my understanding, the Cyrus One in Aurora, the only discharge that actually comes to Fox Metro is domestic, that everything else goes out to the storm sewer. So what you're saying, yours would be different and it would go directly to YBSD.
Correct.
So can you explain to me what the difference would be between the two?
Again, it's definitely easier for them to just discharge, right, than to have to pay sewer fees to go into the sewer system. I don't know the particulars of their specific system, but again, I think when we go to communities, our concern is, making sure that a lot of questions about how we're discharging water is handled well. And I think we've seen that when there's communication with that sewer district and there's monitoring of those levels, that there's just less concern about what the facilities impacting the community is. So.
And do you guys do any on-site testing of your discharge? And is that required by EPA, or do you guys have to file an NPDES permit or anything?
I have to get back to you on that to answer that one. Yeah.
Brad?
I don't know if Tim's here. I don't know if he. Testing of on-site treatment water. Yeah, we can get back to you then.
Brad, did you have
Yeah, I can just kind of reiterate what Eric had discussed and mentioned, that, YBSD is all over this. They have to, meaning Project Steel, they need to submit detailed information on what their planned discharges are going to be. Otherwise, they wouldn't get a permit from YBSD. And if necessary, as mentioned, they do have to put pretreatment on site if it's something that YBSD doesn't think they can handle. Just not unlike other locations within the city that currently have industrial waste. So it seems fairly consistent with other developments in the town.
I'm assuming YBSD has a public hearing portion of the permits that the board did issue. To do that.
Yes, we do. And so when they do submit their permit, whatever required testing will have to be directly towards those concerns of fats, oils, greases, minerals, metals, bio-oxygen demand. I could go on, it's water and that sort of thing. I won't bore you with that, but yeah, they would be required to submit all that, but I'm trying to see if we can get a little ahead of that. So.
Yeah.
Joe?
Wouldn't you say these,
Talk to the mic, please.
the closed loop system you're talking about is typically found in most commercial buildings? Yours is just at a larger scale, correct?
Yes, correct.
This would be the same that would be like found in hospitals, schools, and other commercial buildings?
Yeah, just on a larger scale.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Other questions or comments? Roll call.
Can you read the chemicals? Can you read the chemicals? He said he would read them.
Transier,
I'll give it to you.
All right. Well, let's wait till after the vote.
Solly,
Aye.
Merrick,
Yes.
Coe,
Aye.
Clocher,
Yes.
Funkhauser,
Aye.
motion carries.
Okay. You want to give those?
After
Yeah.
you vote?
Do you want to write them for you, or do you want me to?
I would have liked to hear them before they voted,
You
but
wanna
go
give me on
ahead and
camera?
I want to
Okay.
hear it. I want everyone to hear it.
So it's carboxylates, it's one, phosphonates, and azoles. Copper.
That's everything?
That's it.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, now we're to item E. I'm looking for a motion to approve an ordinance approving a utility and infrastructure agreement and a development agreement binding between the United States of Yorkville and Prologis LP, and authorizing the mayor and city clerk to execute, specifically including the following provisions. 1, under the development agreement, that the developer shall pay the city $40 million in total payments within 30 days of the effective date or by December 31st, 2026, whichever occurs first. And 2, under the utility and infrastructure agreement, that section 3.1C shall be amended to establish a water connection fee to be charged by the city for each building in the amount of $126,530 per building based on 16 buildings and a total project fee of $2,024,480. So moved.
Second.
Mayor Boucher, any discussion? Roll call.
Transier, Solly,
Aye.
Merrick,
Yes.
Coe,
Aye.
Clocher,
Yes.
Funkhauser, Cornels,
Nay.
motion carries.
Thank you. Next, we're to PZC 2513 and EDC 2584 Meyer. These are two separate motions, correct? Okay, I'm looking for a motion to approve an ordinance for the rezoning of certain territory located south of Cornels Road and east of Beecher Road.
So moved.
Solon? Is that Solon? Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Plocher. Discussion. Mr. Funkhauser.
With all the changes that have been discussed in this evening's meeting, I move to table this to the next meeting.
Second. Second.
Of course not.
This is not debatable. So roll call.
Solon,
Nay.
Is that a nay?
Nay.
Okay.
Merrick,
Yes.
Coe,
Aye.
Clocher,
Yes.
Funkhauser,
Aye.
Cornels,
Aye.
Transier. Motion carries.
Okay, so this will be on next meeting's agenda. Anything from the city council? Oh, okay. A motion to table, second, until next meeting. Funkhauser is the second.
Second.
Second by Clocher. Roll call.
Merrick,
Yes.
Coe,
Aye.
Clocher,
Yes.
Funkhauser, Cornels,
Aye.
Transier. Solon,
Nay.
motion carries.
Okay, so those will be on next meeting. Okay, city council report.